Chapter 263, Sacrifice. Forest King, Tang San's 9 rings, CL by Bagelson. That dignified voice in Tang San's mind was already faint by the end, but Tang San still felt deeply respectful. He didn't need to ask to understand that, whether the golden figure or this voice, both came from the true sea god. Perhaps it could be called the sea god's brand on this world. He'd also finally for the first time peeked at the door to divine skills. At the same time as Tang San regained control over his body, the 4 seriously injured tidal Douluo were just crawling up from the ground, their faces overwhelmed with shock. And in the air, the purple fragments BB Dong had transformed into a swiftly circling and gathering, actually stitched together by lines of purple light. At the same time these fragments were also surrounded by a ring of bizarre purple light. Tang San fully believed the sea god, and since the sea god said he couldn't kill BB Dong before becoming a god, then he certainly didn't stand a chance. Without any hesitation, with his mental strength almost completely exhausted, he managed to raise a wisp of energy to urge the vast sea barrier stealth, quietly vanishing in the depths of the forest. And those 4 rising tidal Douluo didn't dare pursue. They were already truly terrified by the golden 13 halberd's true divine ability. It was also no wonder they were this way, seriously injuring 5 tidal Douluo with one strike, including the Spirit Empire's Empress, the peak level BB Dong. How could they not fear such strength? The sea god trident in Tang San's hand was too shocking. The purple magic lines grew more and more intense, and the shattered Death Spider Emperor form slowly came together, once again returning to its condition before breaking. Only, the purple magic lines on her body had faint traces of gold. Having just restored her form, BB Dong immediately withdrew her spirit avatar, transforming into her real body, and even withdrawing her spirit. With a retching sound, she vomited a mouthful of gold-flecked blood, her body trembling violently, her eyes filled with unwillingness. This person is my greatest obstacle to unifying the continent. Finished speaking, she directly sat down on the ground, assuming a bizarre posture with both hands as she entered cultivation. Previously, BB Dong had used the Death Spider Emperor's Night Spirit ability, called Undying Body. Ordinary spirit masters definitely wouldn't absorb a support ability for their strongest Night Spirit ability. But BB Dong possessed twin spirits. She naturally wouldn't be afraid. Her Night Spirit ability came from the same spirit beast as her spirit, 100,000-year Death Spider Emperor. Back when she killed this spirit beast, she spent a full year to complete her purpose, obtaining this spirit ring and the Death Spider Emperor's spirit bone. Of the 2 abilities this 100,000-year spirit ring gave her, one was the life-saving support ability she just used, Undying Body. Even if her body was smashed and scattered by the enemy's attack, it could still reform. One step further than Tang San's blue silver Emperor right leg bone. When BB Dong clearly sensed the threat the golden trident constituted to her life, she quickly switched over to her Death Spider Emperor spirit, and then used this life-saving Night Spirit ability. No matter how powerful the enemy's attack was, it still wasn't enough to kill her. But the sea god's golden divine power wasn't that easily resolved. Even though she relied on Undying Body to block the majority, she was still invaded by a portion and forced to neutralize it on her own. In such circumstances, let alone mentally searching for Tang San and the others, even defending herself was a problem. The 4 Spirit Empire elders quickly guarded around her. Of course, deep in their hearts, even Chrysanthemum Douluo, who wished he could cut Tang San's corpse into 10,000 pieces, didn't dare pursue. Everyone only had one life, and having strenuously cultivated to the tidal Douluo level, where would they be willing to take risks? At the same time, the strength Tang San displayed gave them a powerless feeling. What kind of enemy was it who possessed such a degree of power, even seriously injuring the Lord Supreme Pontiff? But in fact, the ability Tang San had of course wasn't enough to accomplish this. Just like he didn't understand BB Dong's abilities, BB Dong and these tidal Douluo were the same towards his abilities, and especially ignorant of the sea god trident. In such circumstances they were caught unprepared, plus that the true sea god brand showed its strength, thus beating them back in one go. If the true sea god was here, that second millennial space was enough to take their lives, even directly injuring BB Dong. After all, rank 99 peak Douluo might just be one step short of gods, but their strength were as different as heaven and earth. Moreover, the present BB Dong also wasn't the complete BB Dong. A portion of her strength was used elsewhere, and couldn't be transferred. The use over there was even more important than the 2 Forest King's spirit rings. When Tang San escaped, he was already overdrawn. The sea god trident's consumption of mental strength and spirit power really was too large. Even if the last attack had relied on the sea god brand's own energy, Tang San had already used it 3 times before. Although he wasn't a dried out lamp, he was still out of strength. Maintaining the vast sea barrier was difficult. Drawn by his soul, very soon Tang San sensed Xiao Wu's anxious soul waves, and quickly approached. His estimation of BB Dong's and the tidal Douluo's circumstances was the same as the facts. Within at least an hour, they absolutely wouldn't dare leave BB Dong to pursue. This gave him plenty of time. Xiao Wu and the others hadn't run very far, 5 li from the side of the previous battle. As Tang San arrived, Xiao Wu was crying bitterly. Ming, you have to hold on. You can't die. GE is coming. He's a poison expert. He can definitely save you. While crying, Xiao Wu constantly poured her soul force into the 2 great divine beasts. But whether Ming or Ming, the light in their eyes was still growing duller and duller. They were already unable to move again. Xiao Wu, stop wasting your strength. We can't hold out. That person's spirit has the strongest poison of this era. The Death Spider Emperor's poison is basically unsolvable. Besides, the poison hasn't just ended our organs, it's also corroded our souls. Don't cry, we're already happy that you and Tang San could save us from being killed by the enemies. We've both lived for 100,000 years, dying now isn't too early. Not dying by the hands of the enemy, not becoming her spirit rings. We're satisfied. Ming's eyes were now almost closed, even the strength to lift his eyelids was almost gone. While they were talking, Tang San had arrived and removed the vast sea barrier. Seeing Tang San, Xiao Wu was like she had caught a life-saving straw, hurriedly pulling him. GE, hurry up and save them. Ming and Ming will die. Tang San was shocked, not caring about his own weakness. He hurriedly came closer and pulled out 2 antidotes he'd refined himself back when and gave them to the 2 spirit beasts. At the same time he used his remaining spirit power to hasten it. Tang San, don't waste your strength. Even if a god came, he still couldn't save us. Our bodies are built differently from you humans. You came just in time. Before we die, there's still time to thank you. Thank you for not letting us die in that person's hands. Tang San hurriedly comforted. Ming, you'll be all right. I will definitely think of a way to bring you back. Suddenly, Ming's eyes opened sharply. His eyes unexpectedly again possessed an intense luster, as if he'd instantly recovered his vitality. Tang San, listen to me. Along with his mind recovering, Ming's voice grew forceful. Seeing this, Tang San's expression was tragic. He could see how deep the poison was, and Ming was now truly a lamp running on its last fuel. The sudden recovery was the last flash. I don't have much time. Ming looked at Tang San, then at Xiao Wu. Next to him equally at his last gasp, Ming also opened his eyes, but his originally yellow eyes had now become murky. Tang San, we know the state of our bodies. This body has already been completely corroded. Unless you can now take out the same kind of medicinal herb as saved Xiao Wu last time, there is no chance for us. I don't have much time. Let me finish. The herb Ming meant was of course the yearning heartbroken red. Where would Tang San find that? Even if he could, it was already too late. The restrictions to consuming it was also so severe. Tang San sadly watched Ming and nodded. Xiao Wu fiercely threw herself forward, hugging Ming's thick neck and weeping bitterly. A lazy light flickered in Ming's eyes. Tang San, to be honest, at the start, I didn't like you. In the past, Xiao Wu was always together with us. Us 3 were together for close to 100,000 years. No matter what she did, me and Ming always supported her, even when she finally decided to become human. When you appeared, we discovered that Xiao Wu's heart was already set on you. Do you understand that feeling? Just like your sister following someone else. But after the events last time, we both understood that you truly love Xiao Wu. In order to save Xiao Wu, you would rather give up your own life. Xiao Wu didn't choose wrong. You were the best home for her. This time, we are truly happy that you returned together. Seeing that Xiao Wu can already attach her soul to her body, I understand. These years, you've always untiringly worked for her resurrection. Xiao Wu truly has insight. Finding you. I am happy for her. I will leave, but I still have a final wish. I hope you can help me achieve it. Can you? Tang San nodded firmly, getting straight to the point. Tell me. No matter what it is, I promise. No matter anything else, he would complete Deming's final wish just for his and Erming's affection. Deming nodded to Tang San, gratified. Thank you, Tang San. Today might be the day I'm the most thankful. Xiao Wu, don't feel sad. You are like us. We've all lived 100,000 years. You have Tang San. Evolving as a human, you have a new hope. But we've lived in this big forest for 100,000 years. We no longer have anything keeping us in this world. In some sense, dying can be considered the end, but also a new beginning. Tang San, me and Erming have seen through life and death. Dying isn't frightening to us. We are already satisfied with not dying in humiliation by the hands of the enemy. My only remaining wish is Xiao Wu. My final desire, my wish in the final moments of my life, is to see Xiao Wu being resurrected with my own eyes. Tang San looked distracted. He hadn't thought Deming would actually raise such a request. Sadly, he said, I'm sorry, Deming, it's still impossible. I still don't have the strength of a title Douluo. I may have to disappoint you. Deming's gaze suddenly became severe, his burning eyes fixed on Tang San. Of course I can sense it. Your current spirit power is rank 85, right? Isn't that just 5 ranks short? I and Erming will give you these ranks, but after having these 5 ranks, you must resurrect Xiao Wu. Can you do it? Tang San was shocked. Deming, Xiao Wu sharply raised her head, tightly holding onto Deming's neck. Don't, Deming, Erming, you can't do this. The always silent Erming suddenly opened his mouth. At this moment, his eyes were also bright, just like Deming he had entered the final flash of radiance before death, and equally stared at Tang San with burning eyes. Xiao Wu, if you don't want our deaths to be without any value, don't stop us. Me and Deming thought it through just now. Since we will die, why not give our deaths meaning? If we can help you resurrect, our deaths will also be worth it. Besides, after we become Tang San's spirit rings, we can still watch over you. Tang San, do you agree? We 3 are men. For Xiao Wu, wouldn't you want to pay together with us? Deming and Erming both knew how large the harm to Tang San would be in order to resurrect Xiao Wu. They knew they were dying, and hoped to force Tang San to resurrect Xiao Wu together with them in their last moments. They had seen Tang San's strength. Resurrecting Xiao Wu meant giving up on the last 10 ranks of spirit power, forever unable to become a true power. This part would be even worse than death to a talented spirit master. That's why they worried that Tang San would finally let Xiao Wu stay in her current condition, and not help her truly resurrect. Sensing the 2 great divine beasts' gazes, Tang San's eyes grew equally bright, cold light flickering. Deming, Erming, what are you worried about? Even if you've been together with Xiao Wu for 100,000 years, while me and her have only been together for 10 odd years, my feelings for Xiao Wu absolutely aren't shallower than yours. I originally brought Xiao Wu back to the Douluo Great Forest this time in order to resurrect her. More words are useless. Watch. While speaking, Tang San suddenly patted Xiao Wu next to him with one palm. Xiao Wu was now completely lifeless. She could never imagine Tang San would attack her. Before she could react, Tang San's palm hit her forehead, and she fell limply to the ground with a groan. Red light overflowed from her body, struggling and unwilling to return to Tang San. What are you doing? Deming and Erming shouted simultaneously, but they couldn't move a bit now, and could only watch Tang San act. Due to his lacking mental strength, Tang San's sea god's light was very faint, but as that golden light appeared, it immediately bound Xiao Wu's soul, pulling her into his body. His gaze sweeping Deming and Erming, the corner of Tang San's mouth twitched. Suddenly, his left hand flipped the sea god trident, the main blade stabbing straight at his right arm. The sea god trident was a true divine tool, and even his incomparably durable physical body couldn't block it. Blood splashed, and he immediately severed his right arm. Tang San's complexion instantly paled, but he still didn't even grunt, his gaze still ice cold. With a flip of his foot, the right arm flew into the air, and at the same time his left arm poked continuously, sealing the blood vessels of his right shoulder. Watching this, Deming and Erming's originally severe gazes completely changed. Tang San didn't explain anything to them, using actions to prove his determination. First pulling Xiao Wu's soul back into his body, and then immediately severing his right arm. Tang San's right arm was where Xiao Wu's spirit bone was, and as a not yet rank 90 spirit master, only death would separate the spirit bone. Put a different way, when the spirit bone left his body, he would die. Tang San even used the sea god trident out of fear he couldn't sever his arm. That was the strength of his determination. Tang San stabbed the sea god trident in the ground next to him, his left arm catching his falling right arm. With a sudden tremble, he broke down the surrounding flesh, extracting Xiao Wu's spirit bone within. Before the gazes of the 2 great divine beasts, he coldly said, I don't have much time either. This is a man's determination. Deming and Erming looked at each other. Right now, not only were they nearing death, Tang San was as well. As long as his spirit power couldn't reach rank 90 and break his connection with the spirit bone, he would die. I'm sorry. Deming and Erming spoke simultaneously. Their severe expressions already softened, even though they were a lot bigger than Tang San. At this moment, in their hearts Tang San was now standing far higher than them. Especially that madness of sparing nothing for Xiao Wu made the 2 even more feel ashamed. They asked themselves, if it wasn't because their lives were ending, they absolutely couldn't be the same as Tang San. Yes, he was a true man. 2 heaven drowning roars resounded. 2 balls of blazing red light ignited in the Douluo Great Forest. The glaring red light was released simultaneously from between the eyebrows of the 2 great divine beasts, and everything in the range of that red light turned completely static. Sacrifice? Yes, it was sacrifice. This was the method Deming meant when he said he and Erming would make Tang San directly enter rank 90. The growth from the sacrifice of 2 overlords of the Douluo Great Forest, 200,000 year spirit beasts, enough to directly let Tang San's spirit power jump 5 ranks, rising to rank 90. Tang San, we will leave Xiao Wu to you. Deming and Erming's voices echoed simultaneously in Tang San's heart. Tang San's cold gaze grew burning hot, and in the instant that red light spread, 2 hot tears hung fixed on his face. He of course knew what the 2 great divine beasts had decided. Both he and Xiao Wu knew, but like the 2 spirit beasts said, they didn't want their deaths to be without value. Helping Xiao Wu resurrect was their last wish. Red flames began to burn Deming and Erming. That wasn't fire, but rather an extremely special blood flame, and within it burned their blood, life, as well as 100,000 years of cultivation. This was the second time Tang San had received a 100,000 year spirit beast sacrifice, and even though a long time had passed, when he received Deming and Erming's sacrifice, he still couldn't help recalling everything that happened with Xiao Wu back then. Tang San could no longer budge within the red light, but he used his soul to tell them, Deming, Erming, don't worry, I will definitely resurrect Xiao Wu, and guard her with my life. At the same time, I will definitely help you take revenge, to kill Bibi Dong, to destroy the spirit empire. Deming and Erming's bodies were already gradually fading. Hearing what Tang San said, the 2 forest kings' eyes revealed satisfaction. They of course understood, this was a man's oath. Tang San definitely wouldn't spare any effort to complete it. The blood flame grew more and more flourishing. Gradually it turned from red to deep red, and Deming and Erming also gradually faded in this process, like red crystals growing more and more transparent. Deming's body faded first, all the red expanding into a giant ring that slowly contracted, revolving around and slowly merging into Tang San's body. Immersed in the blood flame from the 2 great divine beasts, Tang San's whole body constantly itched, the near-death feeling completely obliterated. The spirit power within him, in chaos from the severed arm and previously exhausted from the fight with Bibi Dong, now grew geometrically, charging at one bottleneck after another at a mad pace. But Tang San wasn't the slightest excited over his rising spirit power. His heart was instead filled with grief. His rising strength came from Deming and Erming's sacrifice. If he had a choice, he would wish his strength never rose in this way. Deming, Erming, leave at peace. I will definitely avenge you. Spirit empire, the hatred between us has another cause. Finally, Deming's light completely faded, and a red arm bone flew uncontrollably towards Tang San's severed shoulder, forcefully stabbing into the wound. Deming's last voice echoed in Tang San's heart. You are the best human I have seen. Actually, both me and Erming like Xiao Wu. Only since we are brothers we never wanted to hurt each other. To your benefit. Tang San, I'll repay you with my spirit bone and spirit ring. Perhaps you won't have to lose ranks. Therefore, I won't owe you. Don't forget your promise. Protect Xiao Wu for us. The moment you severed your arm, I took you as a brother. Deming. Tang San's tears finally fell. Deming's voice faded and disappeared, and his enormous body turned into a small cyan snake that fell to the ground. The cyan light gradually faded, turning a dull grey, and at this moment, Tang San's blue-silver emperor showed itself, and at the same time appeared yellow, purple, black, red, 8 spirit rings, along with Deming's energy turning into a giant blood red ring slowly revolving in the sky. It converged around Tang San, finally occupying the last position. Yes, under Yes, under Deming and Erming's combined sacrifice, Tang San's spirit power had finally attacked the rank 90 bottleneck, promoting to the title Douluo level. The spirit ring from Deming's sacrifice also became his ninth spirit ring. Emperor of the Forest, 100,000-year sky blue bull python ninth spirit ring. At the same time, along with that blood red right arm bone stabbing into Tang San's shoulder, Tang San's blue silver emperor right leg bone violently undulated with energy. One blue ray of light after another surging, crystal blue light constantly revolving around the wound. Flesh and arteries began to wiggle around that red arm bone, growing at a pace visible to the naked eye. Title Douluo level spirit power made the blue silver emperor right arm bone's wildfire burns without end. Spring wind breathes life again ability to completely erupt. 100,000-year spirit bone's ability required title Douluo level spirit power to completely erupt. Deming could be called the number one power of the Star Do Great Forest, even though he and Xiao Wu equally had lived 100,000 years. But as imagined, his spirit ring and spirit bone quality were absolutely above Xiao Wu's. This was also why he said he wouldn't owe Tang San. Even if Tang San lost a spirit bone and a full spirit ring, his and Erming's 2 spirit bone and 200,000-year spirit rings could absolutely make up the difference. After all, lost spirit rings could be hunted again, but finding 200,000-year spirit rings and bones wasn't so easy. When he saw Tang San's 400,000-year spirit rings, Deming already understood that Tang San absolutely wouldn't need to give Xiao Wu all his spirit power to resurrect her. Erming's red flame was still burning, only already a lot dimmer than before. The spirit power the sacrifice could reward was already completely infused into Tang San. If it wasn't for him and Deming being so powerful, it absolutely wouldn't have been possible to help Tang San rise 5 ranks of spirit power and break through the most difficult rank 90 bottleneck. Seeing Tang San's right arm bone grow back, the ninth spirit ring also completely fusing with the blue silver emperor, Erming's deep voice echoed, "My turn. Tang San, please don't tell Xiao Wu me and Big Brother liked her. We don't want her to suffer. Let her always be glad. Let her be happy. I believe you can do it. If one day you truly break through rank 100 and become a god, you will have the ability to condense our souls and release us for a short time from the spirit rings and spirit bones. At that time, we will meet Xiao Wu again. Also, your current spirit ring quality is too high. Definitely don't lose it to Xiao Wu. That will have the opposite reaction. Actually, Big Brother was wrong. We still owe you. If you didn't rescue us today, we wouldn't even have the chance for this sacrifice. Put the abilities we give you to good use. Love Xiao Wu well. I wish you two happiness." The blood flame ring once again expanded, seeing Deming's big gentle eyes. Tang San clenched his teeth. The blood-colored ring of light landed on Tang San. Immediately, the blue silver emperor disappeared, the 9 spirit rings around him also vanishing. In its place, that black clear sky hammer appeared out of nowhere in front of Tang San, floating quietly. The clear sky hammer's dark golden pattern flowed like mercury, as if it knew it would possess its first spirit ring, and looked forward to it with excitement. The blood-colored flame vanished, turning into an enormous spirit ring enveloping Tang San and Erming. As that ring contracted so it revolved only around Tang San, Deming's body was already gone. The last of the red light froze on the clear sky hammer, the bloody light making the originally already heavy presence of the clear sky hammer grow even more domineering. The death god domain inscribed on the clear sky hammer this moment burst forth with white radiance, letting the bloody color of this first spirit ring permeate within, adding a bit of a bloody luster to the white light of the domain. Deming became the last spirit ring of Tang San's blue silver emperor, and Erming became the first spirit ring of Tang San's clear sky hammer. If a 100,000-year spirit ring was appropriate in the ninth position, then Erming's 100,000-year spirit ring becoming the first on the clear sky hammer was unprecedented. This year Tang San was only just 25. Not only had he set the record for the youngest title Douluo in history, at the same time, he also a terrifying record of having a spirit's first spirit ring being 100,000 year. Even though it might not never be repeated, it was absolutely unmatched in history. At the same time, Deming and Erming had given thought to Tang San's capabilities. Deming's physical form was long and thin, somewhat similar to Tang San's blue silver emperor strands, and naturally most suited being the blue silver emperor spirit ring. And Erming was focused on force and violence, just in keeping with the clear sky hammer's requirements. Tang San had never given any spirit rings to the clear sky hammer, and even he himself had never expected that the first would actually be this powerful. But all this wasn't finished. Along with the clear sky hammer's first spirit ring appearing, a scarlet spirit bone grew transparent and disappeared in front of Tang San. That was a left arm bone. Even though a 100,000-year spirit beast poured his soul into the spirit ring and spirit bone, equally, they decided the forms of the spirit bones formed from their sacrificial energy. The left arm bone and right arm bone matched, and at the same time Tang San's clear sky hammer came from his left hand, so consequently Erming chose for his spirit bone form to be Tang San's left arm. The scarlet spirit bone instantly disappeared, but different from Deming's gentle endless spirit power, the split-second Erming's spirit bone merged with Tang San's left arm. Tang San's whole body produced an impression of explosive power. Even though the left arm didn't seem to change on the surface, Tang San felt as if his left arm was expanding unhindered, a forceful feeling filling his arm, the vessels beneath the skin constantly wiggling. At the same time, these 200,000-year spirit rings and spirit bones merging with him made all of Tang San's bones crackle. Whether spirit ring or spirit bone, both would increase the attributes of the user's body, and a 100,000-year spirit ring and 100,000-year spirit bone were undoubtedly even more outstanding. Tang San originally already had 8 formidable spirit rings, and his body had also passed the ice and fire yin-yang wells forging. His innate attributes were already quite formidable, surpassing that of ordinary title Douluo. Now, joined with another 2 great spirit rings and bones, immediately gave a feeling of his body bursting. All attributes related to strength rose explosively, and Tang San's skin also became blood red. The meridians within his body pulsed explosively, his blood circulation speed tripling from before. Even his mental strength moved rhythmically. That the human body could absorb energy was of course a wonderful matter. It could make one's physical qualities strengthen comprehensively. But if the energy absorbed was too great, especially if it was absorbed in one go, if it surpassed the limits of the body, the result would absolutely be appallingly miserable. Meridians bursting to become crippled, and even explode and die. This was also why, back when they discovered Tang San had twin spirits, both Grandmaster and Tang San's father Tang Hao warned him not to lightly add spirit rings to his second spirit. Tang San himself hadn't expected that just absorbing the first spirit ring of his second spirit would produce such a burden. But in fact, these circumstances didn't actually appear because his body couldn't bear it. On the contrary, it happened because Tang San's physical endurance was too powerful.